Hi, welcome back to Storytime Boy in the Tower. So, last chapter, Addie watched Dory kill the pigeon and then they ate it for dinner. Not very nice. So let's see what happens next and let's see if they're able to get out of this tower. Chapter 49. I think Mum likes the pigeon meat. She'd started leaving bits of food on her plate that she didn't like, but she never leaves any pigeon. I've been out of the flat so much in the day, collecting food or helping catch pigeons, that when one day I come back in the morning, I'm surprised to find her standing at the big windows in the sitting room. I go up to stand beside her. I can see my scrapbook is open on the table, not where I left it tucked under my pillow. So I guess Mum must have been reading it. It's been left open on the page where I wrote down, How to Kill and Prepare a Pigeon, Instructions and Illustrations. Neither of us speak, we just stand there looking out. Everything outside has grown bigger and lusher and greener. The sun lights up the blotches, making them stand out. They are everywhere. Mum speaks first. Her voice sounds a little bit raspy and she has to clear her throat 3 times before she can speak clearly. Why is our building still standing? She says in a small voice. I try to explain about the blotches and the salt and the spores which aren't landing higher up on the building, and that we've been lucky with the weather because there hasn't been any rain for a long time, so the salt hasn't been washed away. I realise that I sound a little bit like Obi, that I'm saying everything just like he would do. I finish it off by saying that if we could work it out about the salt stopping them, then someone else will too, and that's when they'll come and rescue us. How do you know all of this? She asks. There's so much to tell Mum that I don't even know where to start. Should I tell her about the other day when I went out in the middle of all the blotches and one of them burst all over me and I thought I was going to die? Or perhaps I should start on the day when I first met Obi and Dory and we all sat down together around the little red and white check table and ate pigeon, even though I didn't know that was what I was eating at the time. Or maybe I should go right back and talk about the day when they closed the schools and how I never said goodbye to Gaia and Michael's mum tried to take me with her, so I barricaded the front door shut. All this time Mum's been sleeping or sitting in her room hiding herself away. I wonder if I look different to her, older, taller perhaps. Is there something to show for everything that I've seen and done since we've been trapped in the tower? Mum looks just the same to me, except that her hair's a bit longer. She's got the same kind face and brown eyes that look like they are smiling. It's like nothing much has changed because she hasn't been doing anything different than she was before the blotches came. She hasn't stood in front of one and seen how tall and silver it is. She's never spoken to Obi or Dory. She hasn't seen Ben crying in front of her. She's just the same. She hasn't changed. Have you ever looked at someone for so long it seems like their face starts to change right in front of you? Their eyes might get smaller, or their mouth seems larger, or their nose looks like it's growing outwards somehow. That's what happens when I'm trying to answer Mum that day. Her face seems to go all funny and distorted and I forget it's Mum I'm looking at. It's just pieces of someone's face. It could be anyone. What's happened, Addie? She says. Are there many of us left? It's a weird feeling that comes over me then, because really, this is what I wanted Mum to do from the very beginning, but now she's awake, standing in front of me and asking me questions. I feel sort of strange. Mostly I am glad because it's much better than her just being asleep all the time, but I also feel something else too, something a lot like anger. I remember the times before Mum stopped leaving the flat. I have a memory of us sitting on the grass outside together, and though I can't remember where we were or what we were doing, I know that we were happy. In my head it was a sunny day. I remember Mum walking me to school and I can picture us going to the shops together and eating in a restaurant like other people do sometimes. But there's too many other memories clouding out the good ones from before. Memories of her sleeping in her bed, her back to me, or me taking out empty plates and cups from her bedroom and refilling them again. That's what I think of mostly when I think about Mum. I say something that I used to imagine saying all the time, so much that I stopped thinking it a long time ago. I say, if you come out of the flat with me, I'll tell you what happened. If you come out. If.